whether it be leadership, whether it be being a father, whether it be being a grandfather, whether it be being a neighbor, whether it be being a teacher at my church. The principles that we've talked about is how I live my life. So what range we're talking about? It's every part of my life. Right? See, I think character, you say, well, character is what you do when no one's looking. All right? You agree? It's who you are when no one's looking. I'm going to act one way in front of you. But if I sit here and tell you I'm not into porn, okay, and I go out here and when I'm on my own I'm into porn and no one else knows it, pornography, okay, so that's who I am, okay? It's not who I was in here, it's that. So everything that I talk about applies to all of life, not just when you go to work. When you get home, this is the way you should treat your spouse. All right?
I think the important thing is also principles of leadership are different because of nationality. Because the principles of leadership of West people differentiate from principles of leadership of East people. From the East, for example, Chinese, Indian, and others.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are completely different.
They are different, but I want to go to the Toyota system, which came from China, and how they build cars, okay? There's not a principle up here, correct me if you think I'm wrong, there's not a principle up here that China has not implemented in their plants in order to get people to build the highest quality car that's made today, and that's Toyota. So, yes, there's differences in some of the things, but that's how they treat their people on the plant. They involve them, they set them up as teams, so, but there are cultural differences, I understand that, okay? But I'm talking about leading from the heart. And I don't think the heart's a whole lot different. Yes. You? No? Yes.
As a leader, you have different tools how to motivate people. You can offer high salary, or you can offer a better position. And how do you think what is the most effective way to motivate people?
Okay. Well, statistics have shown that money, it goes up and comes down, okay? The company has to pay you a level at which you can live, but beyond that, a little more money, you'll like the company for a week or two, but then you'll go back to the same thing. So they really haven't proven that money, which is what everybody thinks is motivating. The thing that tends to motivate people the best is they like the way they're treated at work. It's fun to go to work. If you dread getting up every day, and wish I had my Bible with me, I'd show it to you. I got up every day that 7 years I worked in that bad place. And I read Scripture on the way to work, had my little memory cards. I wasn't reading while I was driving, okay? And on the way back, to get me back in the right frame of mind to go to my family. All right? So that was to get me through those tough times. So, me, from my personal experience and everything else, and everything I read, is the best way to motivate people is to build a culture, an environment, where people feel that they are communicated with, they're regarded, they're respected, they're involved, and they're a part of the team. And if you do that, people will work for half of what they work for today. And I've had many people say, I'd take half the money that I make today if I could go to work for a place where I would love to get up every morning and go to work.
You worked for a bad reward for 7 years.
Yeah.
What for? What was your motivation? And did you have a good salary or?
Yeah, I had a great salary. There's nothing wrong with my salary or anything. I stayed in that job. I said good people don't work for bad companies, okay, or bad leaders. I stayed in that job because of my family. We had spent 10 years in a location that it was very difficult on my family where we lived. And just like if you moved to rural Ukraine, you might find that for you and your family and children, that just didn't work for you. But you stayed there 10 years, because your spouse, okay, had a job there. Well, I had kept her somewhere for 10 years. It was time to let her live somewhere where she could be happy for 7 years.
So you didn't have the possibility to change the job?
Not at that level job in that town, no. Okay? No. But I would not have stayed. I would have left in the first year had it not been for my family. But my family is more important than my job.
My question concerns men and women. As we can see,
I like them both, but okay.
I know. As we can see, there are more male top managers than women. Why is it so? Whether this point concerns leadership skills?
I would say in the States that's changing dramatically. I don't have any statistics
What should
to
we
support
do
it up.
in Ukraine?
But I will tell you, okay,
In the same way.
but I will tell you that when I was interviewing on the college campus, if I liked 10 people, 6 to 7, maybe 8 of them were females. When I say liked them, they met my criteria. They make things happen, they solve problems, they influence people, and whatever the other one was, I can't remember real quick, okay? So I gave them all the same criteria, and the women were winning because they are more determined, okay, to win. And so you're seeing more and more women that started 15, 20 years ago, now then, but coming up and being there. So I think women got a late start.
Late start.
Okay? But today, I mean, I'm not in the active same workforce for, every day. I don't know, you may be able to answer it, but
No, I think the late start, but I also think one of the things that you see now, even in the U.S. politics, you have female presidential, vice presidential candidates. 15 years ago, you wouldn't have saw that. And I think they're exhibiting the skills that Wayne just talked about. And you look at the ones that are out in the floor like that, and you look at what are the characteristics that they show, and why are they where they are? It's because the sex has nothing to do with it. It's a message they're delivering.
Yeah.
And I think the women I've been around with have been successful in business, especially the last 10 years. It's those characteristics that comes there. And
they're drivers, and the men aren't anymore.
Absolutely. And
The other thing, and I'm going to say something for motherhood here, if you got a room here and it's 50-50 female and 50 male, X% of those females are going to choose that they don't want to be on that corporate ladder. They got their family, and they feel they need to be at home taking care of that family, and if that's the decision they make, that's fine. I'll tell you what, you can never pay them for the amount of work they do, and it's a godly thing, okay? I don't hold it against those that want to go into the career, get myself in trouble if I'm not careful here. I don't hold it against them, but I sure don't hold it against those that want to stay home either. So if 10 of those had 50 people here, 25 of each, and 10 of the females decided they wanted to be the mom at home, I now have 15 females to promote, and I got 25 over here. Okay? So I think that would cause some imbalance. Okay? Yes, got plenty more.